Okay, we are going to go through a theory section of user applications. We have already gone through this with the first guys, so we are just going through what you have already written out. So, yesterday we had an introduction to software, we looked at system software, and we said we can have the firmware, a system software, and the OS. OS stands for operating. We saw the importance of the firmware. Does someone recall? What did we see that the firmware does? In this case, the BIOS. Okay, it does the post, it handles the booting, and it's what loads up my operating system. Today our focus is going to be on user applications. Okay, we are going to focus on user applications. Now, user applications are usually those applications that we use for particular tasks. For example, if I want to write a Word document, I'll use Microsoft Word. If I want to create a report, if I want to write a book, if I want to write a memo, I'll use Microsoft Word. If I want to create a presentation, maybe I'm a pastor, I'm going to present a sermon, then I can use a presentation software like PowerPoint. If I want to watch movies, I want to listen to music, then I'll use a media player like VLC. If I want to engage with people online, just send them messages, etc., then I can use WhatsApp, Google Meet, etc. In other words, we are saying these softwares are used for only a particular task. There's no way I can use Microsoft Word to play music because it's not made for that. And there's no way I can also use VLC to write a document because VLC is made to play media files. We have categories of these softwares, and what we have there are the general categories. Now, some of these categories are also in the module 1 notes, I suppose. The module 1 summary I gave you. We are just perusing through some of these. The first main category that everyone needs at least to use, be it a doctor, be it a teacher, be it a pastor, are the word processors. We are saying word processors are computer applications that are used. We use these to create. We use them to edit. We use them to format, save, and print text-based documents. Okay? Word processors make it easy to produce professional documents such as letters, reports, assignments, resumes, and brochures, etc. So those are word processors. We use these to manipulate. I'll share this content. You may not worry much about writing it down. But word processors are those we use to work with documents, create documents, print documents. Let's say I want to write a letter to apply for a job. Let's say I want to apply for a job. I'll write my letter in a word processor. Now, some of the examples we have here are the Microsoft Word. We have the Google Docs, which I've asked you to install. We are going to use it in today's class. We have WordPad, and we can also have what we call LibreWriter. Okay? Now, one of the most common one you've used is this, Microsoft Word. We usually install this on a PC. A PC is a personal computer. But today we are going to get introduced to Google Docs for some of us who have never used it. Google Docs is a word processor, but the beauty of it is that it's totally free. Microsoft Word is paid for. For some of you who have used computers for some time, you may have noticed that after some time, Microsoft Word will tell you license has expired, right? Or it tells you activate. That means you have to pay for it. You have to pay for the license. Whereas Google Docs is totally free. Why is it free? because it's made by Google that gives us majorly free services. Now, Google Docs can run on a PC and also your smartphone. For this session, our focus is we are going to use it on a smartphone. Why? Most of us have smartphones, at least 99.9% have smartphones. We can also use it on a PC, but on a PC, we can't install it there, but rather we access it via the web browser or via the internet. On a smartphone, we can install Google Docs there. On a PC, we can't. But as long as you have internet and a browser, you can access it there. And we are saying it majorly focuses on providing online services. For example, if you have Google Docs, as long as I've shared a document, two of us can work on it even when we are in different locations, as long as we have internet. Let's say we are setting an exam and we are two teachers. We can put up the document. One teacher puts in their questions, I also put in my questions at the same time, and we can correct each other. Google Docs saves automatically. I don't have to worry about saving. And please install it because we are going to use it. Then we come to media players. What do you use to play movies on your phones and computers? VLC. It's not VCL, it's VLC. Some phones have boom player. There are so many kinds of players. But media players are those programs that we can use to run or play media files. Now, when you talk about media files, we are talking about photos, we are talking about movies, music, sermons, etc., podcasts. Those are media files. If I want to view my photos, I can always use, there are many photo viewers. Some phones have just the gallery. There's Google Photos. Google Photos. Now, anything that you see, any program, any service that has Google as part of its name, it means it's made by Google and it has the online advantages. So Google Photos, most of our phones have Google Photos. And you notice these photos usually back up automatically. Or I can choose to back them up. Okay, so those are media players. There are so many. These are just some of those few that we can have. We come to presentation software. Presentation softwares are those we use to summarize our ideas into meaningful, into organized and beautiful files. For example, you've made a research, you've created a research, and you're going to defend it. I usually use this example. Most of you, actually a lot of you, before you leave this university, you defend your research. I hope you know that. You sit down, you write a research, you find a problem, you try and you write a whole research. Now, you could write a research that maybe has about 100 pages. When you go to defend your research, you're not going to put up the whole document on the presentation. On the projector. But rather, you summarize this into maybe 20 slides. You summarize it into 20 slides and you're picking up the main points that you want to present. In other words, presentations are like a guide. Apart from being a guide, they help us engage with our audience instead of presenting a whole document that is boring. Are we together? So, the presentation softwares we are going to look at are Microsoft PowerPoint and Google. Google Slides has the same benefits as Google Docs. It's totally free. It automatically backs up. It runs both on a PC and a smartphone. Microsoft PowerPoint has been the longest available presentation software. It's paid for. It majorly runs on a PC. It can also run on a phone, only that you'll have to pay for it. We'll have a day where we'll look at presentation softwares and we look at them practically. We come to spreadsheets. Let's say I'm interested in calculations, I'm interested in computations. Yes.
What is the presentation?
Now, a presentation is made up of slides. Okay, if I have now those are things we have to get into when we are doing the practical bit, because we'll be able to see. Yeah, we'll get into that when we are doing the practical, but a presentation is made up of slides. And we'll see how we create the slides. Spreadsheets. Now, spreadsheets are usually softwares we use to calculate and execute computations. Let's say you're a cashier, you're a business person, you need to have a balance sheet of how your business is running. You can use a spreadsheet. Let's say you're a teacher, you want to systematically and automatically grade your students. You can use a grade sheet for this. I mean a spreadsheet. Let's say you've been assigned to create a budget of something, be it a wedding, be it a church. You can use spreadsheets for that. We notice that they automatically, once we feed in the right formulas and the right functions, spreadsheets can execute this for us automatically. All we do is just put in the values. They can calculate for us the totals. If it's grades, and I've given my Excel the right formula, or my spreadsheet the right formula, it will automatically assign the grades to my students. And we'll be able to do that before this session ends. I mean the whole session you are here this January. Examples of spreadsheet softwares we can use. Of course, MS Excel. I believe some of you have worked with this. Isn't it? Some of you. You haven't. Is this arts or sciences? No, I was told that you people are. I was thinking, due to your differences in the time, maybe those for arts are the ones who are free in the morning, then sciences. You're all mixed up? Okay, no problem. Carly, no problem. So, spreadsheet softwares, we have said they are used for calculations and computations. Okay? We can have Microsoft Excel. Of course, it's not free. It has to be licensed. Google Sheets is totally free. It has the same benefits as Google Docs. It's among the links I shared with you. And I need you to install it. At least you may install it after the class. But Google Docs, we are using it today. With Google Sheets, as long as I have internet, everything will be automatically backed up in my email. Actually, in my Google Drive, the email just helps us access those. We come to web browsers. Now, at least web browsers and search engines, these are things we use day in, day out. Isn't it? Yes. No, we are looking at the categories of user applications. We started with the word processors. We came to the media players. We have come to presentation. We have looked at Excel sheets, spreadsheets. Now we are moving to web browsers and search engines. So we are looking at categories of user applications. We started up here. User applications, and we have been looking at the categories of user. I hope you're on the same page now. Okay, so we come to web browsers and search engines. Now, these are those tools that I'm sure each of us has used, at least on their mobile phones. At one point, we have used Google. Even today, you've used it. Web browsers and search engines are usually confused to be the same thing, but they're different. And that's why we started by mentioning some examples here. We said for browsers we can have things like Chrome, Opera Mini, Firefox, Safari, and many more. For search engines, we can have search engines like Google, Yahoo, Ask.com, Bing.com, and many more. Has any of us used Chrome before? Right? Have you used Google? What's the difference between Chrome and Google? What do you think is the difference from the usage? They are not the same. They are different, though they work together. Chrome is the mother of Google. Well, maybe we can put it that I can use Chrome to access. In other words, I can use a web browser to access a search engine. I can have a browser like Firefox, and I use it to access my Google. Are we together? If I don't have Firefox on my phone, how do I get it? If I don't have Firefox on my smartphone, if I don't have Chrome on my phone, how do I add it to my phone? I download it and install it. How about if I don't have Google? How can I access it? Google or Yahoo, any of these? How do I use it? How do I get it onto my phone? Someone raise your hand and you tell us. It's already there. Yes. You're saying your phone will be operating like a school without the head teacher. So in this case, the Google is the head teacher. Now, you started with a very good submission here. You said we access a search engine via a browser. And I expected an answer in that line. I go ahead and install my browser. On my phone, except for the newer phones where you have a shortcut that opens up Google. But that Google is not installed, it's just a shortcut. In other words, search engines are not applications that we usually install on our phones, but they are rather services we access, in most cases, via the browsers. Can you access a search engine without internet? You can't. And that drives us to what a search engine is. It's an internet service that we can usually use to access services and resources on the internet. Are we together? So a search engine is an internet service. Without data or internet, you can't access a search engine. A browser, all I need is installing it onto my computer. And I can use it. Majorly, we use these browsers to access the internet via a search engine, of course. These two work together. But the beauty is a browser can do other things. I can use a browser to view my documents. For example, what I'm using is a browser here, and I'm using it as a whiteboard. In other words, with a browser, I can even use it for other things, even when I don't have the internet. I'm using this browser to open this PDF document. I hope we can draw the difference now. A search engine, we need internet to use it. And its main purpose is to search and browse the internet. Whereas a search engine, we can use it. Actually, I think we wrote. Okay, so we can always use, we are saying, web browsers are those applications used to access and use search engines. A search engine is an internet service used to search and browse the internet. Without internet, I can't use a search engine. A browser with a search engine help me access the internet. Though a browser alone is usable for other things like reading documents. Some browsers can even be used to play movies, etc. Are there any questions so far? Now, where does AI belong? We are going to get to that. We are going to get to that in one of our practical sessions. Now, AI isn't a search engine. AI isn't a search engine, but we are going to get to that, and we see the categories of those other applications. Now, we come to this. What we have been looking at are the generic user applications. If I say generic, they are those user applications that everyone needs. A security officer writes a document. A teacher can write a document. A doctor also writes a document. That means they all use word processors. The same applies to presentations. The same applies to spreadsheets, etc. But there are some very specific user applications that are only used by particular kind of expertise. For example, Bible commentaries. These are those that can be used by theologians, etc. Architectural softwares. We can have music production softwares. Now, these are tools. Yes, they are all user applications. We started by saying user applications are used for a particular task. So, if your task is in general, you also have a category of your softwares. Let's say I'm a video editor. Then I'll use softwares that fall in the category of video. I'm a graphics designer. There are softwares that are made for graphics design. But our focus is going to be on these that are general, that everyone needs. Word processors, media players, presentation software, spreadsheets, and web browsers. The rest are usually specific. Now, we are going to look at AI. That will come in the coming, that means we'll look at that after, when you guys are back. Yes.
Is there no transmitting any document without internet?
Now, there is, if you're using the network. You can have, it depends where you want to transmit it. For example, if I want to send my document to someone who is maybe in Kampala, the only option I'll have is internet. But assuming we are in here, I can send my document via Bluetooth. Yes.
But how can I transmit the document from Walker to the information about the internet?
Now, the government has a network. Actually, as far as we know, the government manages the network. So they are okay. But now this is taking us into, they are what we call VPNs.
Yes.
A VPN, leave alone the most of you I know install some. Now, those are not the VPNs I'm talking about, but a VPN usually stands for a virtual private network. These are networks that are used for secure and very private communications. Now, for us, in most cases, we use those VPNs to bypass, actually, just unadvised. I wouldn't usually advise you to use those free VPNs unless you have to. Some of those free tools are apps hackers use to get into our, yes, because you're using their app for free. You're transmitting everything there. Being that you're using the VPN, they can see everything you're doing there. Your password, your everything. You could only use it if you're sure you don't have any private information there. Those free ones. But the actual VPNs are paid for. Now, those are the simple ones we have as apps. But there are those virtual private networks that are totally configured on the main networks that we see running here. Those are some of the networks the government uses for private communications. Because they can't let the communications just move through the normal channels. They can be hacked, and I hope you get what I'm saying. So there are those private networks that not everyone can access. Let's focus here. Let's focus here. Okay. Now maybe our AI can fall in what we call the AI models. We have different kinds of AI models. Nowadays we have natural language models. A natural language model is AI model is an AI you can talk to, or you can tell what you want to do and it will generate it. A very good example is ChatGPT. There are others like DeepSeek. We are going to look at this. There are others like Gemini. There are so many. Nowadays even we have AIs that generate images. Hope you have seen the videos all over online. Yeah, so we call those AI models. Actually, these nowadays are also generic softwares because everyone uses AI. Teachers use it, students use it. It only depends on how we use it. I want us to dive into the practical bit. We have talked about these word processors. I'll share this. It's just a summary. Before we start working with user applications, it's important we know how files and folders work, because these are the main items we'll be using. Okay. Yesterday when we were looking at icons, we saw how we can create. We saw the different kinds of icons. We saw these different kinds of icons. We said this is a folder icon. Some of these others are file icons. We can have program icons, etc. But how do we create things like folders? What are these files and folders? Now, as we use computers, there are a lot of files we'll be creating. For some of you have already used computers for some time. You know that if you don't put your work in folders, you may find it hard to locate or access some of the files you had created earlier. Now, a folder is usually a directory or what we can call a virtual container used to organize or group related files and even other folders. For example, if you are a head teacher, you can create a folder called teachers, and in here you can have files of each and every teacher. You could be a teacher and you teach different classes. You can have a folder called classes or my notes, and in there you have notes for different classes. That's a folder. A folder should have a name, it should have an icon, it should have contents. Contents are the items within our folder. It should have a location, and it should also have what we call as the size. We come to a file. Now, a file is usually the most basic unit of storage on a computer. It's usually a collection of digital data that is stored, named, and retrieved as a single entity. For example, if I create a report, that's a file. If I create a presentation, that's a file. If I take a photo, that's an image file. If I record a video, that's a video file. Are we together? So we'll be working a lot with files and folders. A file as well should have a name. It should have an extension. Now, an extension is what will direct our computer on which program can open the file. For example, if I ever see a file having an extension .doc, that means that's a file. The file is a document and it can be opened by a word processor. If I see a file having .pdf, I believe at least you have worked with PDFs, so you have seen them. We know that PDFs are usually read-only documents. They are not easily edited. Now, a PDF file would be opened by a program that can open PDFs. Files should have contents, files should have sizes, files should have icons as well. The next thing you are going to try to do is how do you create a folder, how do you create a file. Now, if you have a computer, if the computer in front of you is all working, you can try and use it. If it's not, I'm recording this session. In your free time, you'll I usually recommend lab 3. We have 2 labs the other side, and there's also another lab, the nursing lab. You can use any of those labs to try and practice what I'm going to demonstrate. If your computer is working, please try what I'm doing if you've never done it. So how do I create? We said our mouse has 2 main buttons we use to click. If the computer, you can raise your hand and lab attendant. The lines are off. The password is student. Now, let's focus on following the process. I'm recording this video. Whenever you get free time, there are other labs. Please try and practice what I'm going to demonstrate as the university tries to get us other machines. So we are creating a folder. To create a folder, members, let's focus here. Okay, let's focus here as the lab attendant is helping out. To create a folder, I'll move my mouse. Now, a mouse is usually represented by a cursor. What you see moving is what we call a cursor. It can also be called a pointer. I'll move my mouse to where I want to create a folder. If I want to create my folder on the desktop, then I'll move my cursor to the desktop. I right-click. Right-clicking is pressing the mouse button that's on the right. Now, when I right-click, these are the options that I see. Okay? There's the view option. I can use this to adjust the appearance of my icons. If I want them to appear big, I can choose big. You notice they change. If I want them to be viewed as small, then I can choose small icons. If I right-click, I can see options of how I can sort the items on my desktop. Do I want to sort them by name? Do I want to sort them by size, etc.? Our focus is on the new icon, on the new option. Do we see that? Those who have working computers. Once I tap on the new, all I do is hover my mouse on the new option. Okay. Now, once I right-click, and I move to the new, these are the options I should see. Are we here? Yes. The first option reads what? I can create a shortcut. I can create an access file. I can create a Word, Microsoft Word. I can create a presentation. I can create a Microsoft worksheet. But our focus for now is creating a folder. So I tap on that option. And I hope you can see that once I choose folder, the folder is created. But for the start, once I choose create folder, it will be given a default name. What name do you see there? New folder. We said our folder should have a name. So I should give it a name that I'll easily recall, depending on what I'm going to put there. Now, by default, when you just say new folder, the current name that's there will be selected. It will be highlighted in blue. All I do is delete what's there, or I can just start writing. I can say, this is session session 2. Now, if in case it already changed, in case it looks like that, meaning I clicked away and it named itself by default. To rename it, the easiest way is to right-click on the folder. Right-click on it. There should be an option to rename somewhere in the options. Can we try that? Oh, okay. So I can right-click and rename. Once I tap rename, you notice it gets active and I rename. Now, if I've used the computer for some time, the other easiest shortcut is to double click in the current name. Oh, sorry. Okay, you double click quickly in the name. What's happening? My mouse is misbehaving. You just double click in the name. You double click in the name and you can change the name. That's the quicker way if you've used computers for some time. But if it refuses, just right click on the folder, then you choose rename and you change the name. Now to rename, we are saying to rename, you quickly double click on the folder name or you right click and choose rename. Now to open and see what's in the folder. By the way, whenever I say click, I'm talking about left click. When I just say click. So to open and access what's inside this folder, I double click on the folder icon and I'm able to open up my folder. Double clicking is left clicking twice. My folder will open up. Since I have nothing there, it reads this folder is. To add some contents here, I can copy and paste them there, or I can create a totally new file here. All I do is right click inside my folder. I choose new. And among the new options, I'm able to see the different things I can create. I can create another folder inside that. I can also create a document. For example, I say I want to create a Microsoft Word document. I click it. It opens up and I can give it a name, maybe class. And I've created a file inside my folder. I hope we are together. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is recording. So that's how we create a folder. And that's how we create a file inside that. Yes. On creating a folder, right click where you want to create your folder. Let's take a case. For those who are lost, I'm reviewing how we create a folder. Assuming I want to create another folder inside this folder. I right click inside my folder. I go to new, then I choose, and my folder will be created. And I can change, I don't forget to rename your folder. Give it a name. I give it a name. If I didn't give it a name, I can always right click on the folder, then I choose rename. I choose rename right here. And I can change the name of my folder. Are we together now? To rename. Now, to rename, I said there are two ways. If you're not so, if you're just learning how to use computers, the best option that won't confuse you is to right click on the folder. If you're using Windows 11, the rename option will show here. Are we together? Tap on rename, the current name will be highlighted and I can change to a name I want. I just write there. Then we have created it just now. We have created the folder now. Okay, this is what you have done. We created this folder first. We opened it. Are we together? We created a document in here. We went ahead and created another folder inside this folder. Are we together? Now maybe the question would be, how do I move other folders inside here, or how do I move other things in here? Now I can move, let's say I've created this folder here, and I want to move it into this folder right here. Now for those who have used computers for some time, they can just drag and drop it there. But for newbies, that may be a little confusing. That can be a little confusing. So we can usually use the copy and paste options. Copying and pasting. Let's just talk about this shortly. Whenever I copy something, I'm duplicating. Whenever I copy, I'm making a copy of the original. When I cut, I'm moving the original itself to a new location. When I paste, I'm placing the item I've copied or cut in the new location. Are we together? Copying, I'm making a copy. A good example is when you photocopy. You have a hard copy of something, you go and make another copy. Cutting, I'm getting the original and moving it to another location. So when I copy, I'm making two copies. When I cut, I'm only moving the actual file to another location. Now, for example, let me place these next to each other. For example, I have this folder here. This is called folder 3. In case I want to copy this folder and put it in fans of computer, I'll right click on this folder. Now I want us to be very keen here. I'm not right clicking in space. You notice the menu is different when I right click in space. But rather I right click on the folder I want to copy. I right click on it. You notice there are options to cut, and I'm going to go ahead and cut such that we see the difference. I cut. I want to place it inside here. I'll go ahead and open that folder. I right click, then I choose, and it will be moved there. Now if I minimize, you notice the folder which was here is no longer there, because I've moved the folder itself to a new location. That is cutting. Now copying. For copying, we are going to use this. I'm going to copy this file, this folder, this is a folder, and place it inside here. How do I do that? Right click on it, copy, go to the location you want to place it, and right click there, and it has moved there. Now if we are to be very keen, we said for copying we are duplicating, right? You notice I have this folder here and I also have it because I've copied. Are we together? Now copying and pasting doesn't only work here. It doesn't only work in copying files and folders. We can also copy within the file itself. We are going to see that when we get practical. I assume you have installed the Google Docs already. It's what we are moving to next. Yes. Now, yes. Now that usually happens if you're using, especially if you're using Windows 11. Windows 11 is the latest 11. Is the latest Windows. If I right click here, I right clicked on this folder. Now most of us, if you've been used to using Windows 10, you're used to seeing those options here, copy and paste. But you notice here they are not there, but rather they're on top here. Now if I don't see them here, I can click on more options and I will see them here. You get it? Okay. Now there are shortcuts we can use for this, by the way. if you use computers, if you get used for the newbies, if I want to copy, I can say Control R, and if I selected a file and I press Control and C together, that's a shortcut for copying. If I press Control and X, then I'm cutting. Are we together? Control and V, then I'm pasting. Control and X is cutting. Control and C is copying. Control X is pasting. So I can do something like this. Control C is for copying. Control with C pressed together.
Yes.
Control and X is for cutting. Control and V is for pasting. Are we together? Let me try and do that practically. Let's say we have this folder here. Okay, we have this folder here. I'm going to try and cut it using the shortcut. Now you have to make sure you've clicked on it. Now if it's clicked, if it's selected, you notice it appears a little different. If it's highlighted, after highlighting it, I press Control and X. I got where I want to drop it. I press Control and it goes there. Are we together? Now someone said you can also drag and drop. Now drag and dropping would be though dragging and dropping is cutting, it just moves. If I want to move this to here, in other words, I want to cut it from here to here, I can click on it. Now to drag, you left click on an item. Okay? You don't release the left click. You notice I can move it around. Then you drop it where you. Now since it's already there, they'll ask me if I want to replace. I'll say yes. And you've done it. You click on the folder, you drag it, and you drop it where you want. I think you've done this on phones.
Yes.
The same way you do it on your phone. Yeah, with the apps actually, the same way. You just click, don't release, you hold it, you move it around, and you drop it where you want. I hope we are together. Yes, please. How do I paste the copied item? We say to copy. After copying, I right click where I want to paste it. Now, I don't see the option for pasting because I've not copied anything. So if I want to copy this, I right click on it, I choose, I move to the location I want to paste it, I right click in there, then I choose paste, and it will be dropped there. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now we are going to move to word processors. Word processors are one of the most usable user applications. Word processors. And we said our focus is going to be on Microsoft Word and Google Docs. But for this first class, we are going to look at Google Docs. Why do we want to start with it? Because at least a few of you have at least worked with Microsoft Word. We have some basics of it. So we'll look at it after. Let's start with Google Docs, which is new to most of us. Now, Google Docs is a word processor. As I've said, we can have it on our phones. It's among the services that Google gives us. There are so many services Google offers. And I've mentioned some of them have been listed here. We have the Google Sheets. This is Google Sheets. Okay, this is Google Sheets. Whenever I see this icon, then I know that is Google. We know this icon. What does it represent? This provides us Google services. Let's mention some at least we'll use. Have we seen this before? What does it stand for? Google Drive. We talked about cloud storage yesterday. Google Drive. We have Chrome. This is Google Slides. I'm mentioning those we are going to look at majorly. Google Slides. We have Google. This is Google Docs. We have Google Chat. Google offers us a service that works like WhatsApp, by the way. Google Chat, just that it's not so taken up. Then we have the calendar. This calendar actually, I would advise you can start using it if you have important dates, maybe your friends' birthdays, maybe important dates. You can always drop them there, and Google will always remind you, maybe a day before, even a week before. I've seen cases where people forget others' birthdays and people get mad. Some even ask for divorce, I think. Okay, Chrome and many others. Now, if I want to access this on a computer, first of all, I have to make sure that I'm logged in. This is how we access the Google services on a computer, right? Make sure you're logged into your email. Now, whenever you're logged into your email on your computer, your image, if you have a photo on your email, it should show here. Okay? And if you hover your cursor over here, you should see your email reflecting. Now, after my profile image, there are this grid of dots. Once you hover your mouse there, what does it read? Google Apps. If I click here, I'm able to see all the Google Apps. Do I want to use the Play Store? Do I want to use the search engine, the Google search? Do I want to use the Drive, the calendar, the Gmail, photos? All these are shown here. YouTube, Google Maps. Actually, this is an app nowadays that at least each of us should know how to use. Nowadays, you can't get lost around. Someone can just give you the location, they share their location, and you can just move to them even without disturbing people. Where is this? No, you just use this. Google Sheets, we talked about that. Google Docs, Slides, Google Classroom. Let's say you're a teacher and you're not ready to buy a fully fledged e-learning platform. You can use Google Classroom. You set your classes there, you can put your notes there, etc. Google Keep is like an online diary. This is an app I could also advise you have. You can put your to-do list daily and it guides you. You check yourself if you are accomplishing your tasks. Google Forms, if you want to capture data, let's say I'm carrying out a research, you can use Google Forms and so many others. But for today, we're looking at Google Docs. On my end, I'll open it on a computer. On your end, you're going to open it on the phone. Now, on your phone, I believe you have installed it. On your phone, you should locate this icon. Are you able to identify it? Once you open it, this is the interface you should get. Now, don't be surprised if you see some documents already there. Yours is? Yeah, that means you've never... No, it's not even about using it because I believe most of you had never used it on your phone, but some of you are seeing documents there. Yes. That means you were sent documents on your email, you tried and opened them. By default, they'll open up in Google Docs even without your knowledge. Let's say you are sent a document and you accessed it via your computer. As long as I open it, it will load up in Google Docs. Now, since you've installed Google Docs on your computer, on your phone, it will show you the documents that have ever opened in your Google Docs. the one for the web. Are we together? So those documents that I have worked with before will show here. If I have created several documents, I can search for them here. To create a new document, we are going to tap on the plus. Do you see that option? Let me show you where it is. We are going to use this. Do you see that option? Once you tap on that, it should bring you these options here. Choose template and new document. To the English teachers, what's a template? Just a template in English, in normal English. What's a template? A sample. It can be a sample, it can be a guide, it can be a wireframe. So if I'm to use a template, I'm going to find templates of different documents. For example, I want to create a CV, I can work with a CV template. I want to create a report, I can work with a report template. Our focus today is not going to be using templates, but you're going to create a new document. Can we tap on new document? New document. Once you tap on your new document, this is the interface you'll get. Are we there? We are using Fonts members, and I believe most of us have this. As the document opened up, now that's your, now that's, maybe you need to clear up some, but you can work with someone close to you. Maybe if you have videos you don't need, if you have images you don't need. Yes, it uses the font storage. Usually back up things in your email. Oh yeah, that could be the issue. You may find. Yes, stop there. Now back to you. Google Docs will use both the font storage and the cloud storage. Remember we said, members, the noise. Remember we said that Google Docs automatically saves each and every document we create in Google Drive. So if you don't have space there, it means there's no way it's going to. So if your Google Drive is full as well, that could be why. So you could delete some things from your Google Drive. Okay, here we are. Now when you open up, this is the kind of window overview you'll see. You see this right here. This is what I use to submit changes. You may see also untitled document. That is if I've not named my document yet. We'll see how to rename it. Then you should also see these two arrows. What do these usually represent in Word? Undoing and redoing. So I can undo a change or I can redo a change. Then these options here, these are the formatting options. Let's say I want to change the font size, I want to change the font color, I can use those options. Then the plus, this is the insertion. If I want to insert anything, insertion, menu, or options. So if I want to insert an image, if I want to insert a table, a shape, I can use that. I hope you're seeing these options as well. You're not seeing it? Some of you could see it, some of you may not. But this is You can always add comments to a document. Assuming, remember we said Google Docs is an application that usually supports online collaboration. Okay? Let's say, actually, we're going to have this example. Let's say, as the whole class, we are using a particular document. Maybe we are using it as a register. All of us can access it, and we can even add comments. Let's say you submit, let's say a student gives you their assignment, assuming your student or your pupil was sent via email. You can add a comment on the document, and they'll view it using that option. When we move below here, now we said, what did we say this menu was? Formatting. But we can always have the quick formatting options here. In Microsoft Word, what does B represent? U and A with, now this A has a black under. What do we usually use this for? Changing the color, the font color. This is for alignment. This icon here. Aligning to the left, center, etc. Then this is for adding bullets. Now, all these options can be gotten under here. This is just a summary of some. If I want more, I'll click up there. Are we together? We are going to try and type something in here, and we try and format it as we proceed. Let me just put up something on the screen. We are going to type this. I don't know, members here, are you able to see? What are you going to do? I shared actually a screenshot of the same in the group. So you can try and see how to do it. I want us to type, it's just a paragraph. I want us to type this. Try and follow the formatting there. Let me even change the color here such that you try and. Let's try and type it the way it is. Okay, let's type this. We have about 30 minutes actually. Let's be a little quick. At least we use 5 minutes. At least I know with typing you don't have a big problem on the phone. You're experts in typing WhatsApp messages. Are we done? Okay, let's be a little fast. Let's be a little fast. Okay, let's get there. Let's get there. Let's move faster. Let's finish up. Let's finish up. Try and change the colors if you can. I've shown you the options. Now to change, to add an effect on something, you have to highlight it. If you've highlighted a message in WhatsApp, it's the same technique we use here. You just tap there and you move. You have you tried to highlight? It's working. Yeah. So after highlighting, you can. I believe we have finished typing this. Remember standing. There are no seats. No, we are just typing this paragraph. We are not adding more. Just this. You're not seeing. Let me increase the font size. Yes. Up. You hadn't started. But you can copy from your neighbor if they were there, because other people have gone ahead already. Just a minute, let me. Okay, let's finish up. I think they have finished. Okay, I'm going to put it back. We should be finishing. Okay. Hello? Ese sanzeko missed call. Nedda. Mbadde mu kibiina. Kakati bakuwadde ne transport ndowooza. Kati bintere Bugema ku main gate. Neyanza sir. Okay, we should have finished now. You can now. How do you highlight? Have you ever tried highlighting anything on WhatsApp? The same way we highlight on WhatsApp. You just tap in on what you want to highlight. The problem I didn't bring the phone that we can use to project. I think your neighbors haven't done that. You tap in the word without releasing it. Has it worked? But then you notice if you highlight, some options pop up. Which options are those? Cutting, copying, pasting. There are even some more dots you can tap there and see more options. So I can copy and paste in there as well. After selecting, you can select and choose copy. Are we together? Okay, let's finish up. We have about 17 minutes only. Okay, let's go with what you have. Have we tried to make it bold? Have we tried to change the colors? Have we tried to make it italic? This is italic. Now the italic option, whenever you see this I, it transforms whatever we have selected into italics. Italics are slanting text. I hope you see what's happening. Okay. So we have tried to insert the text. We are saying to get more formatting options, in case you want to have more than just bolding and underlining, you can tap on the A option, formatting options. We tap there. Once you tap there, these are the options you see. One of the first options we look at is changing the font type. Where you see Arial. Now this can only be applied after when you've selected some text. So select your text, tap on Arial and change to another font you'd want. Once you tap on Arial, what options do you see? So you can choose any of your choice there. That should change the appearance of your. Those who are lost, we get there by tapping on the A option here. What's happening? Have we seen the font types? Next to that, there is the font size. By default, it's 11. The minus will reduce. The plus will do what? It will add. Okay. Next to that, okay, just a minute. Okay. After, we are still on the formatting options. After those, you should see, you see how we see text, color, and highlight. Members, we are focusing. I hope you're following from your end. After that, you see the alignment. You see the left align, center align. Let me just take a screenshot for everyone to see. Okay, so these are what I'm talking about. Let me download this. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Under the formatting options, these are some extra options you can find. The text color, this is what we are finding under when we are the A option. The highlight color, which is usually known there, you can set it. Now these options are what I want us to look at. If you use Microsoft Word, you try to work with alignment. Aligning is how I position my items or my content in my document. I can position them more on the right, I can position them more to the center, more to the left, or I can justify them. Justifying is having them balancing through my document. So you can select and you try and work with these alignments. Are we together? Then if I want to create an indent, I can always use these options. This is an indent. An indent is creating as like when I have a paragraph, I can push some text in. Something like this. For example, if I select this and I indent it in, you see what happens? It's pushed in. I indent it out, it's pushed out. That's the same option we have here. You indent out, or if I want to work with bullets, I have the bullet options here. Let's say I'm writing a list of names, a list of books, a list of items. I can have the numbered one, which is right here. I can have the unnumbered, right? Line spacing. We can choose how we want our lines to be spaced in our document. The minus reduces the line spacing. For example, in research, you might be doing your research and your lecturer says, your supervisor says, you should have double spacing. That's 2. So you select, then you come and move this to number 2. Are we together? Okay. What was the other formatting option? Okay. Then still under formatting options, as you scroll down, you should see this as well. After line spacing, I want us to look at these. These are columns. If I want to set my document as a single column, I'll choose this option. Now, these columns apply when you've selected the content you want to assign the columns to. I don't just tap here and I expect the change. If I want 2 columns, I use, this is double column. If I want 3 columns, I use this option. When you have time, you can try and explore these. There are many options under here. Okay. Now, I want us to move to the insert menu. We see the insert menu. We say the insert menu is this here. If I want to insert images, I want to insert tables. When you tap there, what are you seeing? Comment, image, table, markups, etc. A link would be, maybe I've written a document, I've written an assignment, and I want to add a link as part of my references. Then I can insert it from there. Let's move to the image. And I want us to tap on the image. Which options do we see? If I want to add a photo into my document, but I want to add it from my photos, then I'll use photos. I'll use that option for photos. If I want to take a photo directly via my camera, then I'll use from camera. If I want to get it from the web, then I'll use web. I want you to choose an option of your choice and you insert an image in your document. You can use that. As the photo inserted there. It has inserted. Perfect. And you can position it. You just tap on it and you move it around. You tap on it and you move it around. You don't release. Have you been able to do that? Unsupported image. Then you can insert another. That means the format of your image has. Or you can just use the camera, you take yourself. Yeah. Okay. Okay, members, we have a few minutes. We have 8 minutes. Can you move to table? You see the table option? With moving, you tap. Let me see if I can share a screenshot. Let me. This is hanging. Okay, to move the photo, okay. Okay, let's see how we can move this photo. You can double tap and you try and drag. You can double tap and try and drag. Or you can to move it. If you want to reposition the image. Yeah. You can also long press on the image. Try and long press on the image. When just long press inside the image. When you long press in it, or when you can long press or you can tap on it, you see options like copy, select all, add comment, then you see 3 dots. Just tap on it, just tap on it. Tap on the image. Let's just tap, don't long press. Just tap on the image. You see copy, select, add comment, and 3 dots. Add us to move to the 3 dots. I hope you can see the things you can do there. You can delete your image, you can replace it. Below there, what do you see? Image options. Tap on image options. You notice there are some few things you can do with your image. You can choose how you want to format it. You can add a border to it. Okay? And that's why you can be able to move it up and down. Go to image options. Now, on the image options, if you want to be able to move your image, let me share the option you'll work with. Okay, let me open here and share. Once you tap image options, you have ability to move your image. Once you tap image options, you tap in the image, you just tap in it. You tap in the image. After tapping in the image, you should see an option, you should see copy, cut. At the end of that menu, there are 3 dots. You tap on those 3 dots. Let me see. They are there. Tap, you can tap on the arrow. And you see the extra. If you don't see the 3 dots, just tap on those arrows that show you the underlying options. Okay, we are saying tap on the 3 dots, move to image options. Okay? Now, with my image options, there is that option that reads image. There is that option that reads just image. Below format, do you see it? And below it, there are different, actually, if you're using Microsoft Word, we call that wrapping text around the image. You notice if you tap one of those one of those options, your image will get, and you tap on your image, you can move it. As long as you're on the image formatting options. You can't move it because you haven't selected the image options. You're not in the edit mode. You tap on the image, these three dots, image options. It's not showing the image options. You're showing those options, you may need to update it. Yeah, for some of these you may need to update. When you get time, you update it. It doesn't have the options there. It should be under here. Okay. Can we try inserting a table? Inserting a table is under the same options. Insert menu. Tap on the plus, choose the table. Tap on the insertion menu, the plus. Once you tap on it, you'll see under image, what do we see there? Once you tap on the table, you can choose the columns you want and the rows you want. After setting them, you say insert table. And you can fill in there as you wish. Are we there? Now I want us to try something in this last 1 minute. Whenever I'm done working with my document, let me share these last slides. Okay, let me share these last slides to demonstrate what we are doing next. Okay, so I'm done working with my document, and what I'm doing next is maybe sharing it, assuming it was an assignment. In the table, you can insert anything you want. I was just showing you how we insert it. Then you can insert anything of your choice. So here we are. Whenever I'm done working with my document and I want to commit all the changes, I tap on this confirmation icon or mark. Can we tap there? It should show on top there. This icon right here. Now, in case you accidentally tapped it, then you should have such a view. On top, it should look like this. Is that what some of you are saying? So there are two views you should have. If you're still editing your document, this icon should look something like that. But if I'm done with editing, I'm no longer inserting something, anything, I tap this, then it will give me this view. Now this is where we are going to rename. If I want to name my document, I can name it here. I just tap on the current name. It should be reading untitled. You change the name to what you want. You just tap in the name that's there. Have we done that? You can write anything of your choice. You're just naming your document. It's in your phone. Now, if I'm done naming my document, unless I want to continue editing, right? Now, I can't edit my document here. To edit, at the bottom of that window, you should see the pen. If I tap on the pen, I'm able to edit again. Are we together? But since we are done editing, I want you to tap on the tick and we come back to this mode where it shows like this. I show you how we can share it. Actually, I want one of you to share what they have done on our WhatsApp. Are we on this mode? Now, to share, there are two ways we can share. If I want to share this document direct to someone's email, then I'll tap on this icon. Once you tap on that, what do you see? This icon here. Add people or groups. What I do there, I can add the email of someone I want to send this to. Are we together? And once I'm done, to send, I hope you see the icon for sending there. The sending icon looks something like, let me see if we have it here. The sending icon looks something like this. Do you see it on top there? Yeah, so I just put the email. If I want to write anything there, but the email is just enough, then I share. The one you want to send to, the recipient. Now, how about if I want to share this as a link to WhatsApp? How do I do that? Do we see these three dots in that window? Tap on them. What do you see? At the top, you should see print layout, viewing mode, make a copy. I want us to move to share and export. Can we tap? Okay, just a minute. Let me get there as well. Okay. Share and export. You see the option for copying a link? Copy that link. Let's try and paste it in WhatsApp. Any of us can paste it there. At least let two people on one post. Let the class representative share. Mr. Lubal. Okay, so if he has shared in the WhatsApp group, I hope you can see what he has shared. So if I open this, this needs an update. You're going to need to update. Okay, now it's active actually. Okay, now you notice those of you are trying to access Mr. Lubale's link. You notice once you try to open, okay, here let me verify quickly that it's me. Now, let's get here. Now, Mr. Lubari has just shared this document, but he hasn't given me permission to view it. I did this deliberately such that we learn how to do this. Now, before you share your document, you can choose how it should be shared. Do I want to share it to someone just to view it? Do I want the person to comment, or I want them to edit? If I just share the link without setting those, someone will have to go ahead and request access. Someone I've sent to. Now that's usually a long process, unless I'm not sure of who I'm sending to. So usually we are going to share again. We are going to follow the sharing process again. We go to the three dots, we choose share and I want us to tap on manage access. Are we there? Manage access. Go to those three dots, tap on share and export. Under share and export, there are about 8 options. The first one is share. Below the share there is manage access. Tap on manage access. We are first managing how people are going to access this. Okay? Now, what do you read there? Exactly. So we are going to change who can view this. Do we see the change option? Tap on the change. It reads restricted, only people added can open. I tap there. When you tap there, which other options do you see? Anyone with that? So, Mr. Lubal, I want you to change to that option. On top there, in that same area. Now, after tapping on that, the option changes. Anyone with a link? There's viewer. So we are saying anyone can access this, right? But we are saying they can only be a viewer. What if I want someone to edit? We are going to tap on the viewer option. So someone can view. If I want them to view, comment, or edit. If I want people to edit, then I'll choose editor. Have we set that? And you'll get a notification that update has been, permission has been permitted. Now, in that same area, I can copy the new link. You should see something that looks like this. I think it looks something like that. That's the link. I can tap on that icon. I copy. I go to WhatsApp and drop it. You try sharing it again in WhatsApp. Oh, people shared it. Okay. This is good. Okay. So this is, you notice right now, it just loads up. This is, you didn't add an image. You add an, actually you notice that as long as it's open, if you're the owner of the document, you can see the people accessing it. You can try and type, now if I try and type something here, all of you should be able to see it. Can someone try and add their image? If you're accessing, you've added it. Even other people, if you're accessing the same document, try and drop your image. You notice this is what I was saying, that we can collaborate on the same document. We can edit the same exact document. For example, if I make a change here, since you have said I'm an editor, this change should be seen by all of you. Have a link to this document. Are we together? Are there any questions as we wind up? Okay. Now, I would request you that you share the remaining